and welcome back to the channel. You're joining me today in my Swiss Army knife of a 4x4, the Land Rover Discovery 4. This one's a HSE Luxury. It's 2012. This car has every single option that Land Rover offered on these in 2012. It's an amazing spec. Heated steering wheel, it's got factory Land Rover rear seat entertainment, reversing camera, etc. What I love about it is the napper leather with the contrasting stitching extends to the dashboard and the door cards and everything, and it feels so premium. It's really quite special. It's kind of like 9/10 of a full fat Range Rover, I guess, but with the Discovery slightly more sort of, I don't know, I guess you'd say it's got more of a classless image. But I just love these cars, and I will be sorry to see this one go. So yeah, I'm just doing a quick driving sort of test drive clip, I guess, because this is a for sale advert, and obviously it's difficult for you to see on camera, but this car is just a beautiful thing to drive. It literally floats down the road. The air suspension works really well. There's no rattles or creaks or squeaks or anything. It's got brand new Pirelli Scorpion Zero tyres on it that were only fitted about a week ago, and they've made a big difference. It had Scorpions on it before, but they were really old, and I think one of the tyres on the back was not a Scorpion Zero. It was some cheap make, and it's kind of, yeah, I think the old rubber compared to what's on it now is just wasn't very clever. But no, it feels so good now. Effortless power. The gearbox is awesome. The 8-speed ZF. There's no issues with any aspect of the engine or gearbox that I know about. Just do a quick overtake now. I don't drive this car particularly hard, but what I do is every so often on dual carriageway I will put it in sport and just rev it out. And the reason for that is, I don't know if you're watching this as an owner of a Discovery 4 or thinking of buying one or whatever, but because the second turbo only comes in around 3,000 RPM, a lot of the time they're such a wafter, you don't really need to. Just for most driving scenarios, you wouldn't really be revving the car past about 2,200. So what can happen is the second turbo can end up sticking and having all sorts of unwanted problems due to lack of use. So just to keep mine working, every so often I'll drive it a little bit harder than I normally would, just to keep that second turbo working as it should do. The brakes on the car are a criticism, I'll be honest. I feel like they're ready to be changed. The pads and discs are clearly old, front and rear. They work fine, but I do notice when I brake hard, I notice a very slight wobble through the steering wheel. So it will want a set of discs and pads soon. It wasn't picked up on the last MOT, but I've done quite a few thousand miles since then, and I just know from experience that there's a little bit more of a vibration when braking than there should be. It's nothing untoward, and most people probably wouldn't even notice. I'm very fussy. But aside from that, it's so good. The aircon is amazing in it. It just works as it should do. That's recently actually been serviced. It had new O-rings on the. I don't know what was done to it, but the mechanic changed a couple of O-rings and regassed it. And it's freezing cold, the aircon. You find yourself too cold half the time if you want to turn it up. So heated front and rear seats and heated steering wheel all work fine. The stereo system with the camera and the rear seat entertainment and everything all works as it should. I've got 2 sets of wireless headphones and a wireless remote control, so people that are sat in the back can watch CBeebies or whatever. I'll be honest, I've never, other than for a bit of fun, I've never watched TV in this car, but it's got a digital tuner, you can watch it if you like. It has also got a digital radio, which always has good reception. It's got Bluetooth audio, so if you want to listen to Spotify or whatever on your phone, you can do that wirelessly without needing an adapter cable or anything like that. It's just factory fitted, and that works really well. Cruise is fine, armrests all good. I think I'm trying to think of something that doesn't work on this car, and I know it's a Land Rover, so you don't believe me, but everything, as far as I know, works. The fridge gets cold when you switch that on. Panoramic sunroof. There's one opening roof and then a big piece of glass with 2 apertures in the back that doesn't open. But yeah, the sunroof works fine. I think there's a clip broken on this blind because it's a little bit of a fiddle to get it to close. It will close. But on the whole, it's a very up together Land Rover. You'll already know if you've read the advert that it is a stolen and recovered car, which is a bit of a pain, and that's basically the reason why it's cheap. But it was clearly a very, very well looked after car. I know that it's 2 owners, and I know that Land Rover Battersea maintained it. I've got an email from Land Rover with all the work that they've done since up until 2018. Then it had a service in 2018 by a different company. I know that because there's a sticker in the slam panel, and I serviced it end of last year, which was about, just looking at the mileage, it was about 4,000 miles ago. So it's all right service wise, but obviously there's no book or anything with it because it was a stolen and recovered car. It's just the way it is. It would be nice to have the paperwork, but again, you know, it's priced to sell. The cheapest HSE Luxury is, I think last time I looked on Auto Trader, it was about 13 grand, and I'd be happy with 8 grand for this. So how much more of a reduction do you want? You know, and they're just amazing cars. Interior condition is very good. You'll see on the photos and when I do the walk around part of the video, there isn't really any wear on any of the seats. I think you'd be really picky to moan given the mileage. There's a tiny bit of wear on the driver's seat, but yeah, it'd be rude to moan. Anyway, I'm nearly at the car wash now, so I'm going to stop banging on, get the car cleaned, and then I'll drive back, and the next time you see me, we'll be outside having a look around the outside of it. Oh God, look how busy it is. This is a good car wash though. It's they always do a nice job. They never scratch the paint. You get the sense that they care. There's one about a mile away from my house, and I never use it because it's terrible. These are a bit further away, but they do a nice job. Backdrop though. Very quick walk around. Right, so I've had the car washed. It's a few hours later because I did try and photograph it somewhere else and it was way too bright because it is a sunny day today, which is rare. So we'll just walk around the car, and I'm just gonna basically show you the external condition and then the internal condition. We'll have a look at the engine bay, look at the wheels and tyres, etc. So starting at the front, given the mileage, 181,000, it's not perfect, but it's in pretty good shape. It's better than you'd expect for such a blunt instrument with that kind of mileage on it. There's a ding here. This badge has been over polished a little bit. The rest of the badges are fine. Headlights and grille, very good. The contrasting colour is factory. That's a HSE Luxury feature. The lower bumper is pretty good, although there's a mark here and there's a scuff here which won't polish out because that's gone through the top coat, so that would need a smart repair. We'll go down the driver's side. The panel, the overall condition is that the car's very straight, the paintwork's nice and original. It would polish up very well. It's not been polished, it's clean, but it hasn't been polished for a while. There's a scuff on this arch trim, so that would need sorting out. The alloy wheels are all in a similar condition to this. I'll show all of them. Tyres are new, wheels need refurbishing. We've talked about the brakes previously, but it will need a set of discs and pads on the front and rear soon. There's a parking dink here, which could, again, fairly straightforward repair. It's never bothered me. I use the car for work and dog walking and stuff like that, so it's not an issue. There is a scuff there that would probably polish out, a few marks along the door there. The privacy glass is factory fitted, it's not stuck on or anything, that's just how the car is. Again, rear wheel, same story, lacquer peel, and the paint needs redoing on there, and it needs a new centre cap. Inside the filler cap is just as you'd expect it to be, not cleaned up or anything, but that's still intact, which is nice. Bit of a hairline scratch there, but that would probably polish. Moving on to the rear, this tread plate, if that's what you want to call it, that's all in nice condition. That's a Land Rover factory fitted HSE Luxury thing. There's a ding here. Lower bumper plastics are a little bit faded, but they're not too bad. They're not scratched or anything. Cover's still intact for the tow bar electrics. Tow bar's functional. I've greased all the inside of it. The keys all work, so you can remove the tow bar if you want, but a Land Rover without a tow bar to me looks weird. Passenger side, slightly better than the driver's side. It hasn't got a ding. Is that a scuff? There's a little scuff there. There's a mark on this mirror cap. Also, just to point out, it has got the full length roof bars, which is again a factory option. A lot of Land Rovers like this have shorter roof bars, so that's quite nice. Yeah, wheels and tyres on this side, same story, 4 matching brand new tyres, but the wheels do need refurbishing. A couple of small marks on here, but generally, given the mileage of the car, it's I think it's in reasonable condition. I'd say, it's fair wear and tear, nothing excessive. So if I just pop the bonnet, I'll show you the situation with the stolen and recovered. If we have a look at the VIN number that's in the window, that's been defaced by the police. I've got a lot of correspondence from the police relating to everything to do with the theft, and the police, when it was in their possession, defaced that deliberately, because that's actually not the original VIN sticker, because the car was cloned. And then similar story under the bonnet. We'll look at the engine in a minute. If you look at the VIN sticker here, again, the police have defaced this because it's not the genuine VIN number. It was part of when it was cloned. And the little white sticker that you can see there, that's the International Security Register sticker. So basically, these are placed strategically around the car. I don't know where all of them are, but I know that there's one there and one there. If you call that number and quote this code, the International Security Register will verify the identity of this car. So the engine bay is, and just to say as well, I've left this on Land Rover will replace these for £200 to £300, but I quite like that it corroborates the story of it being stolen, so I've left them. I quite like to see it in a weird way. I like that it's got a bit of shady history. Engine bay's nice and clean and original, as you'd expect. There's no signs of front end damage. All of the inner wings look good. Fluid levels are all fine. The oil's recently been changed. You can see there the cabin filter and fuel filter was also done at 177,000 miles, and it's on 181 now, so it's done about 4,000 miles since I serviced it. So I have used the car regularly and it's been super reliable. So just show you the interior. There's a few marks where the seatbelt buckle has hit the door when people have closed it. That again, that's been defaced by the police, even though there's nothing to do with the VIN identity or anything. For some reason it came back from the police with that sticker altered. So condition of the interior is actually really good given the mileage of the car. You can't really fault it. I mean, to expect any less wear on that driver's seat would be unrealistic, I think. It's a really nice interior, and you've got the leather top dash and the nice leather cappings on all of the doors with a contrast stitch. So most well, basically all Land Rover Discoveries would just have a vinyl top on here, so it's really nice. It does make the interior feel a lot more premium, which is good. And then talking of premium, in the back it's got Land Rover rear seat entertainment and the headrests. I'll just go around to the other side. 2 wireless Land Rover headphones and a remote control, so people in the back can have completely separate audio to those in the front, which is good if you've got small children. My dogs are less interested in CBeebies, so we don't bother. It's got heated seats in the rear, and it's also got a flap here in the rear where you can connect the games console into it if you really wanted to go crazy. It is a 7-seater. At the moment we've got the rubber mat in the rear, but it's a 7-seater. The carpet under the boot mat is really good as well. I think apart from the fact that it's been well used, I think it's been really well looked after, this car, and I don't think it's really been worked particularly hard. I don't think it's been a farm vehicle or anything. I think a family probably had it originally, and due to that, it's kind of held up really well. So there you go. That's a brief tour of this Land Rover Discovery 4 HSE Luxury. If you are interested in buying the car, you can call me. My number is 07712 426 170. If you think that there's anything that I've not covered in this video, let me know. I can make a second video or a short clip, or have a FaceTime or whatever to answer any other questions, but hopefully this covers everything. It's a fantastic car. It needs a new home. I'm not asking silly money for it. You get a huge saving because it's a stolen and recovered car, so there's not really much wiggle room on the price. But that said, it does need to go. So ring me and let's have a chat if you're interested. And I think that'll be all. So thanks for watching, and if you're interested in knowing more about my other cars for whatever reason, there's loads of other content on YouTube that you can browse through, and that'll sort of give you a feel for who I am and what I like to do and how I like to use and maintain my cars. So there we go. All right, see you around for the next one.